Hi, this is Joseph Kurgan, and today I'm going to be presenting on the constraints for my Database 130 final project. So as I've read this, we need to add constraints as needed, emphasis on as needed, that constrain each of the following. So the first one that really brings out that as needed is a vessel cannot be scheduled if it does not exist. Spent about 15 minutes trying to figure this out, 20 minutes, and then I said to myself, I kind of wonder if it just does it on its own once you link all those tables. So I went ahead and said, hey, let's go ahead and create a record. This, we're going to call it 6, vessel ID 500. So, hey, maybe someday in the future the tour company has 500 vessels or, has a 500 class vessel. Right now they don't, though. And we'll say this is 2019-07. 30, it's at 9 a.m. and duration 7 hours. We try to close this guy out. And it says, oh, I'm so sorry. Our problem is in row 6, and the problem is with the foreign key tour schedule vessel. The conflict occurred in the database, so on and so forth. Basically saying, hey, your vessel doesn't exist there, pal. Can't help you out. Now, if you change it to, say, 101, which is a vessel that does exist, bam, close it. No big deal. Doesn't care. So that fills our vessel cannot be scheduled if it does not exist. So our next one on the list is a vessel cannot be scheduled twice on the same day. So that's a unique constraint for 2 different items. So we're going to say, let's choose first one. So we'll say vessel 101 again, tour date 50, guide ID 3. Oh, that's going to conflict. So we'll do this guy down here, guide ID 2. That's for later. All right, and then we'll say tour date 2017 on 07/29 9 a.m. We'll try to close this guy out again. And this time it's going to say the unique constraint that I put on it, UI tourboat _ overbook, saying, hey, I'm sorry, but you've just overbooked that vessel. It can't do 2 things at once, no matter how hard it wants to. The next is a guide cannot be scheduled twice on the same day. And so this is why I was mumbling to myself about, oh, I can't choose that guide. So if we choose guide number 1 on vessel 103 on the same exact day, and we try to close it out, it's going to give us another problem. It says, hey, I'm sorry, but again, you're having problems, and this is a unique constraint that I set, UI guide overbook. Again, same thing. Hey, Bob wants to make more money, but there's just no way he's going to be able to work on 2 tour boats at the same time, no matter how hard he tries. So that does us. A vessel cannot be scheduled twice in one day. A guide cannot be scheduled twice in one day. Now, here's another one of those as needed. A tour can, yes, it can be scheduled twice or more on the same day. So this is as needed because the truth is SQL doesn't care. SQL can't know that the Duwamish won't allow us to have more than 3 tours running at the same exact time for our company. And this is already reflected here. We have tour ID 50. Oh, sorry, SQL. We have tour ID 50 for our tour schedule ID 1 and 2 on the same day. So you don't need to do anything to make that one happen. All right, and now we have a tour cannot be scheduled on a date that has occurred in the past. So that's a check constraint. I went ahead and set that bad boy up. So we'll go ahead and correct this so we stop getting our errors. All right, and we will test that. We'll say, hey, I want to accidentally fudge a key and say this tour happens 2015 07/29. We'll make sure all our information is correct. Guide ID vessel 103. Yep. All right, we'll try to close this bad boy out, and it's going to say, hey, I'm sorry, but you still have the incorrect information here. We have check tour must be current. So I'm trying to say that, sorry, brother, we can't schedule things in the past. Time travel isn't a thing yet. And who would want to go on a river cruise anyways? There's way cooler stuff to do. All right, now we're going to be moving to a completely different table. So let's go ahead and clear all this. So we can get rid of this. And we're moving on to the guide license table. So now here we have the expiration date of a guide's license / certificate cannot be a date that has occurred in the past. So this is a check constraint on our expiration date. So we'll just go ahead and try to change value 8 here and say the expiration date expired March of this year. Try to close that bad boy out. And it's going to say, hey, I'm sorry, check license must be current. It's saying, sorry, that date has to be equal to today's date or greater. And then we have foreign key fields cannot be null. So I just kind of went on a rampage with that and said pretty much everything has to have a value because I really didn't see a lot of wiggle room for this sort of stuff. The way I saw it, so we do have our foreign keys, tour ID, guide ID. They're not null, but the way I also saw it was, vessel ID as well. The way I also saw it was tour date, start time, duration, hours. Those are also important values. You can't just say, yep, there's a boat doing something. We don't know when, we don't know how, we just know it's kind of going places. And the same thing over here for our guide license. And I said our license type ID cannot be null and our guide ID cannot be null. But again, expiration date and issue date are also super important. They also can't be null. So nothing can be null in my database. All right, so now we've gone over a vessel cannot be scheduled if it doesn't exist. That's native. A vessel cannot be scheduled twice on the same day. We created that. A guide cannot be scheduled twice on the same day. I created that. So those are both unique constraints. A tour can, yes, it can be scheduled twice or more on the same day. That's native. SQL just doesn't care. A tour cannot be scheduled on a date that has occurred in the past. That's a check. We created that. The expiration of a guide's license or certificate cannot be on a date that has occurred in the past. That is a check. And foreign key fields cannot be null. Bam, just showed you that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email or phone. You have both those pieces of information. Have a wonderful day.